People don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they are cowards. They throw away their future because they are more afraid of a maybe than staying poor. This is the story of Ryan, a man who held his entire dream in the palm of his hand and then dropped it into the trash. Ryan worked at a dusty petrol station in a town where the sun felt heavier than the silence. Every day he watched the world move past, filling the tanks of luxury cars while his own life remained empty. He polished the windshields of dreams he could never afford, staring at his own tired reflection in the expensive glass. His heart burned with a single, sharp desire. He wanted to own a jet-black Mercedes-Benz. To Ryan, that car wasn't just metal and leather. It was a symbol of a life far away from the smell of gasoline. He would often close his eyes and imagine the feel of the steering wheel beneath his calloused fingers. One humid afternoon, the ground beneath his feet began to vibrate with a low, expensive hum. A jet-black Mercedes-Benz glided, its paint shining like a dark mirror. Ryan's breath caught in his throat as he realized this wasn't just any car. It was the exact model he had pinned to his wall at home. A man stepped out, moving with a grace and confidence. He didn't look like a typical boss. He looked like a man who had conquered every obstacle in his path. "Fill the tank full, please," he said, his voice as calm and steady as the engine. Ryan couldn't help himself and blurted out, "Sir, this car is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen." He looked at the man with desperate eyes and asked, "How does someone like me get a life like yours? How do I become more than just a boy at a pump?" The man paused, looking Ryan deeply in the eye, as if searching for a spark of true hunger. He didn't reach for his wallet to give a tip. He pulled out a thick, gold-edged visiting card. "Come tomorrow at 8 a.m. sharp," he said with a mysterious smile. "I don't hire employees, Ryan. I build partners and leaders. If you are willing to show up and work harder than you ever have, I will teach you the secret of the engine. The choice to change your life is now sitting between your fingers." As the Mercedes roared to life and sped away, Ryan held the card like it was made of thin glass. It felt heavy with promise, but as the dust settled, a familiar enemy arrived: doubt. The thief of dreams began to whisper, turning his excitement into a cold, paralyzing fear. What if this is a scam? What if he just wants to humiliate a poor boy in a big office? Ryan looked at his dirty clothes and felt a wave of shame wash over him. He convinced himself that he wasn't good enough. He was meant to stay right here in the dust where it was safe. Ryan looked at the card one last time, his hand trembling with the weight of the unknown. He flicked the gold-edged card into the oily, overflowing dustbin. He chose the comfort of his current misery over the terrifying possibility of greatness. 3 years passed like a slow, gray shadow. Ryan's life remained same. He was still standing at the same pump, his hands permanently stained, and his heart filled with a quiet, bitter resentment. The world had moved on, but Ryan was a ghost haunting his own life. Then, on a random Tuesday, a familiar hum returned to the station. The same black Mercedes stopped at the same pump, looking even more powerful than before. Ryan's heart skipped a beat as the door opened, but the man who stepped out was someone he didn't recognize. This new driver was young. He looked at Ryan and a small, knowing smile played on his lips. "Do you remember me, Ryan?" he asked. 3 years ago, I was the janitor who cleaned the grease off these very floors." Ryan gasped, his mouth hanging open in total shock. "The janitor? How is that possible?" The man leaned against the hood and sighed. "I was watching from the window when that businessman gave you his card 3 years ago. I saw everything." The man's expression turned serious as he continued his story. "I saw you throw that golden ticket in garbage. After you finished your shift, I went into that dirty bin and I dug it out. I didn't care about my pride. I cared about my future. I showed up at that office the next morning at 8 a.m. with the card you rejected. the man said firmly. I worked, I studied, and I learned every secret of the trade. That man gave me a map to a new world that I was brave enough to follow. And today, I didn't just come back to show you this car, the man said, as he started the engine. I came back because I just signed the papers to buy this entire petrol station. You threw away the keys to your kingdom. As the Mercedes-Benz pulled away, Ryan stood alone in the silence of the station. He realized that opportunities don't always knock twice. Sometimes they only whisper once. Most people fail not because of bad luck, but because they are too afraid to make a decision. Don't let fear be the thief of your destiny. When life offers you a chance to learn, to grow, or to change, don't doubt it, explore it. Because who knows, if you have the courage to reach into the unknown, the next Mercedes-Benz could very well